You are scaring them. The people you encounter every day are afraid of you. Your appearance and demeanor frighten them. There are many reasons for this, but the most important is that you have undergone a chosen evolution. In this evolution, there are significant changes, and your life changes in an incredible way. Some of you are born directly with this evolution and live your lives as chosen. In this evolution, I will explain the reasons why you have gained certain powers or have certain abilities, and why now no one approaches you. This video is God's way of communicating with you. Before continuing, write 77 in the comments and activate your aura. Let's begin. They keep their distance from you because they feel that approaching you means opening up to others, and this leads to fear within them. Your love is not just a momentary warmth. Your presence is like a powerful wave that encourages them to uncover the ignored aspects and reveal hidden truths. That's why they choose to stay on the edge. They are drawn to the allure of your light, but they flee from the burden that your power brings. They desire the energy you offer, but they are afraid of the cost of having it. Because what you give is not just closeness, but a depth that seeks reciprocity without any expectations. Even though you ask for nothing, your presence demands great sincerity from them. You are not looking for approving glances or chasing after commitments. This creates anxiety in them. For them, your departure is not a loss, because despite being able to love sincerely, they sense that you have an unrestricted freedom that makes them uneasy. Their hearts are so stone-like and demonic that they have never tasted what it means to remain bound to someone with such a deep love without being dependent. For them, the focal point created by your presence is enchanting, but they instinctively understand that staying with you requires much deeper commitment and inner transformation. They want something from you, but without feeling the responsibility to share that bright energy. Yet, they cannot stay by your side without leaving it incomplete. You are not just a friend, but like a strong wave of nature. And being by your side means dragging them into a profound change. You are a mirror, showing all the fears they try to hide. But this confrontation is not something most people dare to face. You are chosen, and they are normal beings. For them, distancing themselves is because your presence is so powerful that they can understand who you are, perhaps more than they anticipated, but they cannot truly grasp what you say and your purpose. As they realize this, your strong stance and your ability to exist without relying on anyone create unease in them. This trait of yours, gaining visibility unnoticed in every environment you are in, tests their fragile defense mechanisms and breaks their egos. They run away, not because they do not understand your value, but because they do not want to face their own fears. They know that avoiding the burden of reciprocal connection brings up the wounds they hide within. You trigger a fear that you cannot express, the fear that their own shadows will emerge in your light. They believe they can be self-sufficient, trying to convince themselves and others while wearing masks of indifference. However, their coldness is not towards you, but a shield against the striking reality that they are largely dependent on external validation. When they reflect their emotional distance, they are actually building walls to protect themselves from the vulnerability your presence demands. Seeing you is seeing a kind of wholeness they could not create within themselves. They act strong, but whenever they feel your energy, it reveals just how fragile they truly are. To deeply feel and activate this power, you can join our membership by clicking the subscribe button and be among hundreds of the chosen. Now, write, "I accept my destiny," in the comments. When they flee from you, they are not fleeing you, but erecting a shield against the missing parts deep within their own reality. In you, they see an inner wholeness that they cannot hide or wish to create within themselves. When they reject you, they are not rejecting your existence. They are building walls to resist their own internal dilemmas, because mutual closeness requires a more complex foundation than they imagine, and your sincerity dismantles the semi-real truths and temporary masks they struggle to hide. They prefer to leave you in the shadows rather than stop to acknowledge their own hidden fears. Hence, they feel a deep fear in hiding a fear in their depths and trying to avoid their vulnerable sides from their own eyes. Your presence creates an undeniable attraction force in people, but the fear they feel as they approach is shaking them like an internal storm. Their interest in you brings their own deep fears to the surface. They understand that loving you requires intense and deep commitment. However, your ability to protect your free spirit under all conditions frightens them. While you are not afraid to bond, the risk of losing when necessary reveals their weaknesses. Although the desire to keep you close is strong, knowing that it cannot be controlled exposes their vulnerable side. While trying to understand you, their admiration for your freedom conflicts with their feeling of uncontrollable attachment. Your deep commitment to them, fearing it will make them vulnerable, constantly triggers a need for distance. Emotionally, they withdraw themselves, offering their love in measured ways, as if they think they can protect themselves from possible hurt with these boundaries. They are affected by your light, but maintaining distance becomes their defense mechanism. Staying close creates hidden anxiety within them because deep down, they know that one day you might leave without looking back. To prevent this anxiety, they try not to surrender themselves to you. When you are near them, they seek the safety of staying at a distance that will not threaten their freedom. But this attempt to protect themselves is actually nothing but an internal struggle against the anxiety of leaving without you. A spirit that does not hesitate to bond but can exist without others' approval creates an unusual challenge for those around. This independence makes them need you more while also causing a fear mixed with their respect for your freedom. Their withdrawal strategies are an attempt to soothe this anxiety within them. While they understand the difficulties of keeping you by their side, they also know that your independent spirit can leave them. On one hand, they are filled with the desire to have you. On the other hand, they try to protect their own boundaries and safety zones. Deep down, by trying to attract you more, they hope to compensate for their own deficiencies, but deep within, knowing that they do not need your love creates an unshakable tension in them. Being by your side creates an internal transformation experience that reveals people's potentials. They feel that they have stepped onto a different path by shedding their current circumstances and gaining the courage to take a new step. Being with you ignites a spark hidden within them, and your presence gives them a new perspective. However, this change carries a cost that some are too afraid to confront. When they are close to you, they know that new opportunity doors will open, and they will reach an inner growth. While leaving a permanent mark on their lives, it also creates the need to adapt to new innovations, causing them fear. Your presence, when they feel the necessity to open themselves to new beginnings, sometimes makes them uneasy. You sow the seeds of change, touching people's lives, but knowing that you will not remain in their existence leaves a deep unease within them. Every moment spent with you offers them an opportunity to discover their own potential, while at the same time creating the fear of facing the impact you leave behind. Opening a path for them, The fact that you are ready to leave that path alone creates an emotional void. While the changes you bring leave marks on them, your desire to continue on your path causes those with you to struggle with the emptiness you leave behind. The power within you guides people's development processes, promising them something better. However, at the same time, the possibility of dealing with the lasting effects of the time they spend with you leaves them vulnerable. The power of your love is completed by your unconditional display of your free spirit. Their deepest fear is caused by your independence from attachment. After getting to know you, they realize that their lives will never be the same, but they also know that they cannot be with you forever. Your influence remains like a light that illuminates their paths, and the feeling of eventually parting from that light creates internal anxiety. They desire the profound transformation they find in you, but are weakened by the tension brought by knowing that one day they will lose you. Not only who you are, but also the change your energy will create in them attracts them to you. Your presence, like the uncontrollable rise of an inner fire, has the power to transform those you encounter. When you find a way to use your inner energy, it leaves lasting marks on the people around you. This change reveals aspects they cannot even see themselves. Those who learn to grow within an inner order learn to be near a power like yours. Access to special, uncensored content that seeks direct access to the source of the energy you offer will be opened. The revelation of this knowledge teaches ancient practices that extend beyond the modern world. As you lead others with your transformative power, you witness the opening of a door to profound change. They may feel the weight of the reality that they can never reach you, but they do not stop fighting against the permanence of the marks you leave. However, while your presence provides them with a solid foundation, they know that your path is never bound to just one place. This independence you possess reminds them of their own boundaries. It causes them to confront their own weaknesses. Knowing that a spirit like yours will not be permanent drags them into a silent fear while they have to deal with the emptiness you leave behind. The desire to discover the true power behind internal growth invites them to be among the chosen. But this is not a commitment. It is an expression of the awareness to continue on their own path. They fear the power of your presence. To them, this power is a danger that will overshadow them. To protect their inner fragility, they create a cold distance, trying to keep you at the edge by taking as much energy from you as they can. They are aware of your value, but they prefer to ignore it. Their efforts to keep you safe with superficial behavior are actually meant to cover up their own internal deficiencies. They restrict your love, but when you distance yourself, they show temporary interest. This is part of their strategy to keep attachments limited. Deep down, knowing that you do not need them creates a sense of incompleteness in them, but still, the fear that shadows you is more prominent for them. With every new opportunity they face, they see the power they receive from the time spent with you as internal energy. While you open the door to a brand new transformation for them, you also help them find their own paths. Even the transformation brought by the moments spent with you gives them a chance to break free from old habits. Those who join your life are inspired by you to realize their potential. However, this change comes with a cost that they are afraid to confront. Those who gain power through your energy as they step into new beginnings fall into anxiety because of the necessity that comes with this process. With every new step, the guiding power you provide leaves a lasting impact, but the weight borne from this impact is sometimes more than they can bear. The deep impact your presence, which brings a radical transformation to their lives, always remains with them after the time spent with you. While a spark ignites and progresses within them, the traces you leave create a permanent change. Your presence leaves valuable memories and guides them in discovering themselves, while the thought that these traces will remain in their lives creates internal unrest. The effects you bring help them reach their own potential, but the possibility that this growth journey might leave them alone creates an emotional void. You leave a transformation gift to the people you guide in their development processes, but at the same time, the fact that this gift will continue one day without you drags them into an internal fragility. Your inner resilience remains unchanged against the mockery games imposed by the outside world. Some people around you, when they realize the power of the value you offer, are deeply disturbed by it. It's as if they do everything to cover up their feelings of inadequacy, but their discomfort cannot overshadow your shining essence. In reality, they are not protecting themselves against your potential. They are trapped within their own boundaries to avoid confronting the hard face of their inadequacy. They continue to make attempts to keep you in place, influencing from paths you do not understand, even if you do not notice this situation. However, even if your inner rise is momentarily hindered, it is never stopped. Deep inside, they know that they lack the courage to separate your value from their own deficiencies, and they use distance to push the limits of their understanding. You have had to carry the heavy burden of being rejected more than others, but each obstacle has sharpened your ability to grasp the value of your essence. After surviving betrayals, you stood tall and witnessed those who tried to belittle you. They were afraid of your light. They fled because of this fear and left you alone. But in those moments of loneliness, you found your inner clarity. Every rejection did not diminish your self-worth. On the contrary, it became a mirror of their deficiencies. These experiences did not weaken you. Instead, they redefined your strength. In the shadow of the fear others have towards you, amidst manipulations, you discovered your ability to protect your true self. They wanted to reach your light, but were deterred by the heat of the fire, so they preferred distance. This loneliness revealed the rare and strong side of your resilience. You realized that you have an independent value apart from others' approval and did not allow their deficiencies to define you. The betrayals you experienced taught you the essence of balance, loving from the heart, but knowing when to leave when necessary. You can fully expose yourself, but you are never dependent. You can approach people with all your heart, but you can move forward without surrendering your soul. This is a confidence that can make others uneasy. Most people cannot understand such autonomy, such inner strength. Those who see love as a form of attachment or some kind of control tool find it difficult to confront your ability to let go freely. You form a loving bond, but can pull back when necessary. This ability to distance yourself is part of your power and terrifies those who see it. When they witness a free love, they have to confront their own lack of independence and need for approval. They want to keep you, but your consciousness is strong enough not to allow being part of an incompatible bond. You have gained this freedom through challenges and left an impact echoing with your inner strength. When people encounter your presence, a new hope ignites within them. Fresh perspectives on their own potentials arise. The energy around you shows them peaks they had not thought of before and makes them feel they could be part of something greater. Just your presence alone opens a door for them to recognize their inner value. Yet, behind this newly found self-confidence, there is a lingering unease. Your emotional independence makes them feel that you possess an inner power beyond theirs. They know that you are happy being the focus of your attention, but this focus is not dependent on them, because your path is not external, but connected to your inner light, rising from your own center. No bond can hold back your true power. Your freedom, although fueled by deep love, does not limit you. Neither beside nor across from anyone do you need to stop. And this greatly surprises others. Most people are captivated by the effect of your presence, yet they sense that you will not hesitate to leave. Their efforts to make themselves indispensable to you are in vain, because your heart carries an energy that beats not to stay bound, but to love freely. Although they might know that you could set off on a new path with a distant glance, they feel a silent unease at the certainty of your departure from them. As someone who recognizes your inner value, you are not afraid to leave. What increases their anxiety about how they will define themselves without you is precisely this independence of yours. This combination of love and self-sufficiency makes you a powerful presence that no one can easily control. You found your own inner values through a deep journey. Every disappointment you encountered did not diminish your worth. Instead, it elevated it. The voids left behind by those who left did not make you scorn them. Instead, it allowed you to see their boundaries that could not adapt to you. Thus, every loss gave you the strength and determination you needed, because the true purpose of this path was to keep you valuable in every situation, to make you independent from a value imposed by someone else. Most of those who touched your life step back, feeling the weight of your presence. They are not determined enough to stay with you, because this would reveal the sides they do not want to face. What they are actually trying to avoid is not the power of your love. It is the deficiencies, vulnerabilities that love reveals to them. Your love, instead of being drawn into, remains distant, offering them a safer space. Your love is too deep and intense for them. This intensity disturbs those who want to stay at the surface. True love is a force that touches the most vulnerable parts of the soul, and many people are not yet ready to face this nakedness. To leave themselves vulnerable seems to them to expose their pains, regrets, or past wounds. That's why they prefer to withdraw, instead of approaching you closely enough to truly know you. Your presence forces them to confront the kind of wholeness they could not create themselves. They prefer to remain in the shadows, rather than stop to acknowledge their own hidden fears. Hence, they feel a deep fear in hiding a fear in their depths and trying to avoid their vulnerable sides from their own eyes. Yet despite this distance, you make your presence felt. Those who are not yet ready to confront the truths with you remain one step behind. Every separation and withdrawal moment brings you closer to yourself, deepening your self-awareness. While generously offering your love, your ability to withdraw this love when necessary has created a strong internal balance that does not rely on external approval. You now realize that every rejection is not a sign of your inadequacy, but rather a sign that others cannot receive you. This awareness brings not only resistance, but also a sense of strength and independence based on your own self-worth. Your ability to notice the unseen sides of others is a skill that brings both admiration and fear. You can give generously without losing control and form deep connections without pushing your boundaries. This becomes a power that unsettles those around you. The clarity you possess allows you to see the wounds others try to hide. You can capture the shadows they emit, touching the cracks of their emotional armor. The difficult truth to face for them is reflected in your presence. Your eyes penetrate the depths of the worlds others try to create by hiding their weaknesses and look beyond their fragility. Many prefer to run away from these gazes. When they sense that your sharpness does not try to deceive them with fake promises, they become vulnerable. What makes you frightening is your ability to remain strong without being dependent on them. Your love is deep and transformative, yet you do not compromise your freedom. Emotional games or manipulations do not affect you, which is something those around you struggle to understand. To them, love is often synonymous with dependency, as if love is a kind of exchange that balances the two ends of a bond. However, you possess an independent power that can stand on its own. If necessary, you can offer your love and withdraw at the same time. The fear of loss is evident in your courage to leave bonds that do not serve you. This power unsettles those who try to control you through emotional chaos, something they cannot comprehend. People feel that they cannot bind you to themselves with their love, approvals, or presence. If they cannot meet your needs or remain faithful to their fake shells, they know that you will release them. This is not hardness. It is wisdom dominated by self-worth. Your self-value is not dependent on the value others give you. Being the master of your heart makes you independent from them. While most people are attached to external approvals, you are a power surrounded by independent love, making you both admirable and frightening. This is your reality. You have a power that dares to bond but does not fear to leave when necessary. The root of your power is not in holding on to love, but in your ability to let go when needed. Every unfinished friendship, every disappointment, has strengthened your path toward emotional independence. You are not limited by the judgments of those who fear to distance themselves by succumbing to their fears. On the contrary, you know when to open up and when to close down. Your journey was not a coincidence. Every step nourished the courage to love and the grace to leave. There is no place for those who cannot adapt to your energy. You are here to connect with those who have found their powers and are not afraid to stand with you. This balance allows you to deeply experience love without sacrificing your freedom. Remember, the essence of your soul is not something that anyone else can give or take. It is a reflection of the divine, a pure creation of God within you, meant to flourish and stand firm. In your interactions, you have likely encountered those who misunderstand, resist, or even reject this strength. But that does not define you. This journey is a testament to resilience, an opportunity to experience what it means to truly embody love and freedom. God has set a path before you, one filled with trials and triumphs that refine you like gold in the fire. This is echoed in the scripture, "But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold." Job 23:10. You are not bound by the opinions or fears of others, for God himself is your strength and refuge. Your ability to connect deeply, to love freely, and to walk away when necessary is not a weakness, but a profound spiritual gift. In Philippians 4:13, we are reminded, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." This strength comes from within, a quiet confidence that doesn't need approval, but draws from the source of all creation. As you move forward, know that this strength is both a blessing and a calling. Embrace your power without fear. Walk in the light that God has given you, and know that every step you take is a testament to a purpose greater than the limitations of others' expectations. You are chosen, and your spirit is a beacon, one that will continue to shine in a world that desperately needs light. With every step of love and courage, remember that you are not alone. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Trust in that path, for it is uniquely yours and blessed by God's unwavering promise. You are seen, you are valued, and you are powerful. Embrace your journey fully and freely, for it is a sacred path,